Ms. Shomo, you confess you had a weekend fling with a co-worker while married to the defendant, Mr. Kleckler. Now, because you admit to being intimate with both men during the same 2-day period, you now say you have no idea who fathered your 11-month-old son, Theseus.
Yes, Your Honor.
The courtroom is tense, emotions are high, and what's about to unfold is a web of betrayal, secrets, and a heartbreaking quest for truth. Today's case is about Shomo v. Kleckler and Freeman. As Ms. Shomo stands before Judge Lake, she's calm, but the guilt in her eyes is impossible to miss. She's here with a confession that might break her marriage and her family forever.
You are that co-worker, and you're the second possible biological father. You state that if it's determined you are indeed the child's biological father, you want full custody.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. So, her 11-month-old son, Theseus, may not belong to her husband at all? Mr. Kleckler, her husband, tightens his jaw as the truth comes out. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. He wants the child to be his, but after years of deception, he's filled with doubt.
His friends was more important at the time, and he just wanted to run around and not be a family man.
My friends always said I was with you. If we went somewhere with my friends, you was there.
That wasn't true. He had left me and the kids in the house, Your Honor.
And then, the co-worker enters the picture, Mr. Freeman. He owns up immediately. Now the stakes are real. What led to all this? Ms. Shomo says she felt unwanted in her marriage. 10 years together, and she claims Mr. Kleckler prioritized his friends over his family. While she begged for time together, he was gone, late nights, no affection, no connection.
Affection than my husband did, and it led to something else.
Mr. Freeman, when you met Ms. Shomo, you knew she was a married woman?
Yes, Your Honor. And, she was saying that he was.
But Mr. Kleckler denies abandoning the family. He says she's been out late with the kids, disappearing at midnight, and he finally had enough. So how did Mr. Freeman end up in the picture? First they were friends, then they became more, and now here they are. But there's a twist. Ms. Shomo says he cheated first, with his best friend's aunt. The audience gasps, and while Mr. Kleckler admits to past mistakes, he insists he never brought another child into their relationship.
This would have never came down to this if he didn't cheat on me with his best friend's aunt.
Really?
It completely ruined my life on till this day.
I said I did
It's
my
because
dirt.
of him is why we are in this position now.
When Theseus was born, everyone says he looked like Shomo. She was thrilled. Her daughters looked like their dad, but this time she felt like she had a son who resembled her. But as he got older, doubts crept in. He started getting darker, his features changed, even Kleckler began to question it, but here's what makes things even murkier. She claims they used protection. Mr. Freeman agrees. And yet, Shomo accused him, saying he wanted to have a baby with her. Freeman denies it was anything malicious.
Beautiful brown skin and hair, and I can see that when you had him, you said, he looks like me, Native American. I can
Yes,
see
Your Honor.
this in him.
Yes.
And then as he got older, you just didn't see Mr. Kleckler in him.
Right.
One thing I read is that in the court papers you said that Mr. Freeman
Shomo had shut Freeman out completely, but one day, while walking with the baby, he reappeared. When he saw Theseus, he felt he kinda looked like him. Although, as a newborn, he didn't see the resemblance. But over time, it became glaring. Mr. Kleckler claims he kept asking his wife if she was hiding something about the baby's paternity, but she didn't open up to him. He wanted to believe his wife. He really did. But the voice in his gut wouldn't go away.
Came and saw him one day while I was walking. He walked up to me and he was like, so this is little man right here. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you know what? He kind of looks like me, but I didn't know if he was joking.
When Mr. Kleckler brought up the baby's skin tone, doctors told him it was due to Mongolian spots. It's common in Native American, Asian, and black babies. Still, the doubts didn't stop. Now, the moment everyone's waiting for. 11 months of wondering, years of broken trust, a baby caught in the middle of emotional wreckage, and 3 adults desperate for clarity. The judge takes a deep breath. The envelope is in hand. Tension ripples through the room like a storm about to break.
They're cleaning him up, saying skin color, and I'm a nosy person. I just asked all types of questions.
I can tell. I'm just teasing.
And,
I am too, so don't feel bad.
So they said something about his color, and they said it was. I said, "What's wrong with his color?" They said it's off a little bit. And
Kleckler says he's ready to play the role of father without hesitation, but his heartbreak is raw. When asked if he wants to repair the marriage, he didn't sugarcoat his intentions. I believe we've heard enough. So let's move on to the most important part of this hearing. It's time for the DNA test results.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Freeman.
congratulations, y'all.
So appreciate it. Do what I got to do.
And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Winslow, you stand in court stating that Mr. Barlow is your son's biological father, but also say
The room is still as Mr. Barlow steps forward, staring down at a truth he's not ready to face. He doesn't believe Jabril, 20 months old, is his son. Why? He's got 8 kids, and they all look just like him. Jabril, not even close. And he thinks he knows exactly who the father really is. Ms. Winslow, the plaintiff, doesn't back down. She believes the defendant is Jabril's biological father. But if he's not, there's a reason. Now, what's the reason?
And that's not possible.
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
While I was away, I would call all the time because I got a long past of infidelity. I got a long history of infidelity.
During the time Jabril was conceived, Mr. Barlow says he was away, not around, nowhere near the bedroom, so how could he be the father? But Ms. Winslow claps back immediately. She claims he wasn't away that long. And yes, the landlord was there, because he was fixing things Mr. Barlow should have fixed. So, what was the landlord fixing?
Clearly, if the landlord's going to repair something in the
It's not the
apartment,
landlord that's
he has
doing
to
it.
be in the apartment. So if she says, I'm going to call you back because the landlord is here,
Barlow's not buying it. At 10 p.m., putting together beds, and when he called, she hung up, says she's busy. With him there, something isn't adding up. Mr. Barlow believes in his guts that something isn't right. He didn't understand why the landlord dropped the $2,500 rent to just $300. But Winslow counters, not for the first time today, and doesn't seem like the last time either.
For what reason do I say, okay, you ain't got it, just give me $300?
This is what happened. When I moved to the apartment building,
man,
I had got duped by a crooked person. The landlord that I was supposed to move into a house in, I paid him $2,000.
Apparently, the Good Samaritan landlord did more than reduce the rent, and hearing his level of generosity would make you question why he was being so nice to Ms. Winslow. Also, as it turns out, the phone call incident wasn't a one-time thing. Barlow claims he called over 80 times, and each time she'd brush him off. But Winslow says the only thing Barlow heard on the phone was his own guilt.
Hold up. I'm taking $300 from you out of 25. I'm a businessman now, but yet you didn't just give me the other 2,200, but I'm buying you furniture. I'm buying your son a bed.
And then, the real reason he started suspecting the landlord, he finally met him, and the man wasn't old like he thought. He was young, fit, their age. Suddenly, the suspicions exploded. Here's another twist. One day, Barlow surprises the family, comes home unexpectedly, and sees something that sends him spiraling.
The Barlow didn't know what the landlord looked like. So when he finally saw the landlord, he was like, oh, I thought the landlord was old. When he found out he was around our age,
But the doubt runs deep. Barlow says Jabril looks nothing like him. Nothing like Winslow either. And now, Winslow herself is starting to crack. And to top it all off, she says everywhere she goes, people ask if he's Hispanic. When she looked it up, 28,000 babies a year were switched at birth. Now she's confused and unsure if her baby was switched at birth.
the only way that this baby is not this man's child is if he's not mine. I believe something happened at the hospital, and it would devastate me, Your Honor. I have a strong connection with my son. Now, if this boy isn't my son,
And now, here we are. A mother who questions whether she's truly the mother, a father who fears betrayal from every direction, a landlord who's somehow become part of the family, and a baby caught in the middle of it all. The courtroom is silent, breath held, the truth is coming.
I had to find the maternity portion of the result so that I could confirm whether or not you are in fact Jabril's mother. These results state that the probability of maternity.
Now we know Miss Winslow is the baby's biological mother, but still, it remains to be seen if Mr. Barlow is his biological father. Perhaps if we knew what the landlord looks like, we could catch a glimpse of whether or not Mr. Barlow has a case for doubting paternity.
why would I
Landlord
make
came
up
to the house
something
to
like
see the
that?
baby.
So what does the landlord look like?
Your Honor, the landlord is Colombian.
And when you go places, people say the baby looks Hispanic, and
But here's where it gets even wilder. Barlow signed the birth certificate. Legally, he's the father. He was in the delivery room, held the baby, named him. And yet, his doubts remain? Well, I think we've heard enough. Now it's time to uncover the truth. Let's get to what really matters. The DNA test results.
Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is.
The moment Mr. Webb opened his mouth, the entire courtroom shifted. He made a strong claim that made the air stiffen. His defense was the boldest kind there is. Ms. Cole, standing alongside her mom, downplayed his claim. According to her, they were intimate in her bedroom for a single night. But Mr. Webb won't budge. Now that begs the question, who's lying?
I never had sex with her, Your Honor.
Well, that would rule you out. You never had sex with her?
April 11th. That's the night Miss Cole says everything happened. A party, a long night, and a moment she swears changed her life. But Mr. Webb's memory doesn't work that way. Still, Miss Cole insists, and things start spiraling. Now here's where the courtroom starts cracking at the seams, because not only does Miss Cole swears the child is his, her mother backs her up, and they all start firing words at each other. But here's the thing, he says it was only a week, maybe a week and a half, and he was only crashing, not living there. So why is there a baby involved?
I know that it was a night that we was partying.
Oh, yeah, right. He ain't like that.
Your Honor, the worst that we've ever done is take a picture, and she was already in the bathroom. She had called me in there. When I walked in the bathroom,
Webb's current girlfriend says she spoke with him 5 or 6 times every day during that week, so there's no way he had time to do anything with her. But Ms. Cole insists otherwise. Now here's the interesting part. Mr. Webb brings up text messages, even ultrasound photos she sent him, trying to prove her daughter looked like him before she was even born.
And you called me with his friend telling me that he was there for 3 weeks, you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first I did believe that, but then I heard his story and none of it. Shut up, I am talking.
Is it just a lie or something deeper? Webb has an explanation for all of this. Obsession. If that's the case, why would she take it this far? But then, Ms. Cole drops a new twist. Apparently, there was another man a month before. The room goes silent. This is getting more interesting, and here's where it gets even foggier. She claims her due date changed, and that's what made her think Webb was the father after all. First, it was February 22nd. Then it moved up to January 28th.
To know for sure he's the dad, because I did have another partner. It was a month prior.
fine.
No, I told you there was another possibility, and I told the other
but you also
possibility there
told
was
them
another.
that you were 100%.
The confusion grows and the denials intensify. Mrs. Cole claims the intimacy was just 20 lousy minutes. The courtroom erupts in gasps and laughter. Even Judge Lake pauses, stunned by the rawness. But Mr. Webb doesn't remember it like that. He even claims there are witnesses at the party that could testify that nothing ever happened between them. To be frank, a lot could have happened between them since they partied indoors for over a week.
These are things that she has literally made herself believe. She made herself believe these lies that she's telling.
But Mr. Webb says he never slept with you.
And he did.
But he did.
For sure, yeah. It was a lousy,
And when asked to provide any intimate detail that might confirm her version of events, Ms. Cole throws a low blow again. She makes a strong claim that makes the courtroom gasp. And as expected, Webb's girlfriend didn't take it kindly with her. Just when we thought we've heard it all, Mr. Webb brings screenshots of texts. In these screenshots, Ms. Cole waffles and admits that she isn't sure about her baby's paternity, and then seems to flip completely.
Kyle's saying about his penis.
Seen it in her life, period.
Father. I was without my father for 39 years. I want to know that my grandchild has a father.
Baby Majestic is 6 months old, never met either potential father, never held by Mr. Webb, and the other possible dad? He's incarcerated and completely out of the picture. For clarity's sake, Judge Lake asks the critical question. She wants to know the defendant's motives if the baby ends up being his. His response? Wait till you hear it yourself.
She obviously has no relationship with either man. Have you ever seen her, Mr. Webb?
No.
Held her? And the other gentleman has not either.
He's incarcerated.
Mr. Webb, if you are this child's biological father, are you willing to be a father?
That's not something I've thought about.
And now, the moment of truth. 6 months of claims, screaming, denials, texts, ultrasounds, confrontation after confrontation. But there's only one thing left to reveal. The truth. It's high time we end the shouting, the guessing, the games, and finally get to what really matters. Let's go to the DNA results.
Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy.
Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that he fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah.
It started with betrayal. It might end with a broken family. Mrs. White says this is her last chance to save her marriage, and she's betting everything on proving that her husband is the biological father of their 3-year-old daughter, Savannah. She's admitted to cheating. She's admitted to lying. But now, she's ready to come clean. Mr. White, on the other hand, says the damage is already done. The lies, the text messages, the nights she didn't come home. And today, if the DNA test confirms what he suspects, it's over.
Can't be with somebody that's gonna constantly cheat on me and have me raise somebody else's child. Savannah has the right to know, and I have the right to know.
And you love this little girl.
Yes, I love her to death.
3 years.
They married young, had children fast, moved in after 1 month, married within a year. Now, 3 kids later, and 1 more on the way, the truth is threatening to destroy everything. Mr. White says the cheating started a week after they tied the knot. Since then, he's caught her over and over.
Rough and emotional, because when it first all come about to where I had the suspicions, it was she was having an ex-boyfriend come over while I was at work. I had neighbors tell me he was coming over, and then I started.
Mrs. White doesn't deny the cheating, not anymore, but she says the root of it all is emotional abandonment. But it all sounds so bizarre. You wouldn't believe how the defendant discovered the truth. Literally, his wife once told him, when Savannah was just 6 months old, that there was a 50-50 chance he wasn't the father.
Because I was adopted, so like if he's not showing me the love and affection that I need, and I mean I'm not trying to like make excuse for myself because I admit what I've done is wrong, but I just want him to like show me.
Mr. White was there for her birth. He cut the cord. He stayed through the hospital nights, but he has lived with doubt ever since. Still, Mr. White stayed. For the kids, for the family, but there's a limit. He works tirelessly, takes odd jobs just to provide for the kids, and she still does this? Not a care in the world for her loving and hardworking husband or her beautiful kids.
For a fact that it was actually happening, it wasn't just, oh, it's an assumption, I don't know for a fact, but I think more than anything that I was more hurt because I done got attached to her, 6 months old.
Text messages where she tells another man she's naked and waiting in bed, messages with multiple men, asking for cigarettes, Valentine's Day, treats, and late-night meetups, even photos. Yes, those kinds of photos. The texts don't lie. One message shows her making plans to meet up with another man after she gets her driver's license.
In this bed with me. The ex-boyfriend texts back, LOL, you are crazy, about to call you in a minute. Your wife says, LMAO,
Savannah is 3 years old. She calls Mr. White Daddy. She reaches for him when she wakes up. She's never known another father. But Mr. White says the timeline doesn't add up. And now, with a baby on the way, he's more suspicious than ever. Ms. White says she wants to stop cheating. She wants her husband back. She's done making excuses. And she's hoping the DNA test proves at least this child is his. But Mr. White isn't sure he can believe her anymore.
So I can get the results of the kids and Savannah and just move on with our lives, and no more cheating, no more nothing, just us taking care of the kids.
You want to save your marriage?
Yes, Your Honor. I should have done it a long time ago, but
Mr. White doesn't just feel betrayed, he feels trapped. He says he's tried to leave, more than once. But every time, Mrs. White denies trying to trap him, but her tears say otherwise. And then, the emotional gut punch. Savannah has medical issues. She aspirates when she drinks. She could get pneumonia. That's why he's been by her side every step of the way. He just needs to know if she's really his.
Ms. White, you're doing way too much manipulation.
well, I'm just trying to fix everything, trying to work on it.
When is the last time you cheated?
It's been months. Since
How many months?
Since February.
So the last time you cheated was in February.
The courtroom is silent because no matter what the results say, hearts are going to break. And now, after years of betrayal, countless lies, and a marriage hanging by a thread, it's finally time. Alright, we've heard everything we needed to hear. Let's move on to the most important moment of this hearing. The DNA test results are in.
Mr. White, you are her father. You don't believe you fathered her 1-month-old daughter, Lillian Willard, and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Willard, you too are here with your mother.
What would you do if your fiancé walked in and found another man hiding in your mother's bedroom? That's exactly what happened in Hodges versus Willard. A case packed with lies, hidden relationships, and a newborn baby girl caught in the middle. He says she's a liar. She says he's the father. Mr. Hodges didn't come to court alone. He brought his mother, and they came with one goal: to prove that 1-month-old Lillian is not his child.
Cheated on me, and I taught her with multiple guys, had one hidden in the room. And whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful.
Ms. Willard, the mother of Lillian, didn't deny there was a man hiding in her mother's bedroom, but she said it was just a childhood friend. The reason she didn't tell her fiancé, he has a temper, and then came the bombshell, she was married to another man. The entire time she was engaged to Mr. Hodges.
No, I did not. I had a guy over at my house, yes. He was visiting because he was a childhood friend, and I didn't tell him because I knew he'd flip out.
Mr. Hodges proposed, thinking he'd found the woman he'd spend his life with. What he didn't know? She already had a husband. His mother, Ms. Blevins, pushed for the DNA test. She claims her son has been manipulated. And when she did her own digging, she uncovered messages from another man, a man who believed he was in a relationship with Ms. Willard at the same time as Mr. Hodges.
I understand that you are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you do that?
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her.
The most shocking twist? This same man was present in the delivery room when Lillian was born. Not Mr. Hodges, the alleged father. Another man who thought he might be the dad. When asked if she cheated on both men, Ms. Willard gave a straight answer contradicting what she had been accused of. But the texts tell a different story though.
Do you have those messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me have those. Jerome, can you bring me those messages? Thank you. Ms. Blevins says, I do understand my son was engaged to her and caught her cheating.
When asked why Mr. Hodges wasn't present at the delivery, Ms. Willard made an absurd claim, but she'd already told him she was pregnant. So, why the deception? 4 days after the baby was born, Ms. Willard was still texting Mr. Hodges like she was pregnant. Whoa, how crazy is that? When Judge Lake asked why she lied, her response was unreasonable.
Ms. Hodges writes to Ms. Willard, how's the baby doing? Ms. Willard says she's okay, her lungs aren't fully developed right now. And then you write, and when is she due?
The lies weren't just calculated, they were emotional. At one point, when asked why she lied about so much, Miss Willard finally broke down, and what she said may have been the most honest thing she said all day. She admitted she held on to Mr. Hodges not just because she loved him, but because she wanted to build the family she never had.
He's married, and I just wanted a family.
You can take your time, because I knew something was on your heart.
Even through all the betrayal, Mr. Hodges hasn't walked away completely. He's been visiting Lillian, holding her, and bonding with her. He admits it. The young man has been in Lillian's life since the moment he found out she existed, and his mother has too. But the truth isn't so simple. There's still the question of the other man, the one who was at the hospital, the one texting, the one who once demanded a DNA test too.
We've been keeping her. We've been seeing her since we first found out about her. Christina lets us see her, and we've had her for over a week now, spending time with her. And Your Honor, I want to say I don't want no hard feelings with Christina.
But the timeline, the overlapping relationships, the secrecy, all of it says otherwise. Now all three families are watching, hoping for answers, and at this point, there's nothing left to say. No more lies, no more texts, and no more secondhand stories. I think this is the right time to get the truth. Let's move on to the moment that will change everything. It's time for the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hodges, you are the father. And she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
Yes, ma'am. He was fighting for his country. She was dancing in clubs. Now there's a baby involved, and no one knows who the father really is. This court case is about infidelity, betrayal, secrets, and a marriage hanging by a single DNA test. But his woman claims it wasn't betrayal, but survival. How so? Let's find out together.
Overseas in Afghanistan, and I was at up in the Northeast, and an older man came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, hey, I need to go outside, we need to talk right now. So earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out,
Mr. Threlkeld was serving overseas in Afghanistan when his world started to unravel, one notification at a time. Apparently, a soldier tipped him off about his wife's doings in the most awkward way possible. Back at base, he logged into Facebook, looking for answers, and what he found only deepened the wound. And just when he tried to call her out, the internet went dark because the base was attacked. 3 weeks in total silence, while his marriage spiraled from thousands of miles away.
and while I was at Bagram, I finally was able to get back online, and I get on Facebook, and there's some clown on there saying, liking all her skimpy photos. Yeah, was following her. He liked that she was started working at the club. So then I started doing a little bit of research, wondering.
Back home, Brittany was dancing at clubs. But when Judge Lake asked the real reason she started stripping, her answer shifted. She kept making excuses, and they weren't concrete enough to convince the judge or anyone else in the courtroom. How could you receive thousands of dollars every month without needing to pay taxes and still strip to pay bills? Come on, Ms. Threlkeld, that doesn't just add up.
We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, we're going to get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers. And then we hung up. And let me finish.
What had happened was, when I was at Fenty,
after more questioning, the defendant claimed they got married too young, and she wanted to do what she wanted to do. Now, this is the craziest part. When Mr. Threlkeld came home from deployment, she didn't even show up to the welcome ceremony. Where was Brittany when her husband got back from deployment? Stripping? Who knows?
Because I wanted to do what I want to do.
Let me explain. Okay, now we're getting to the truth.
Okay.
You wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And why is it that you wanted to strip?
Because we got married too young.
Brittany says she was there, just parked across the street. Really? So she watched him standing in the streets with his luggage on both hands? Or couldn't she recognize her husband anymore? I mean, there must be a tangible explanation for her actions that day. Perhaps she was exhausted from pole dancing for hours at the strip club.
I was waiting in the car for 30 minutes.
Your Honor,
he never showed up.
Wait. You waited in the car, so when they call his name, he says no one was there. His name?
We weren't at the airport. I was waiting across from his unit where he told me to wait.
When she finally picked him up, she pulled up in clear stripper heels and a tight dress with money still in her shoes. Well, that's not all. On the ride home, Mr. Threlkeld saw her phone buzzing. 13 missed calls from the same number. He grabbed the phone, called the number, and what he heard on the other end of the phone would break any man.
She came dressed in her clear hooker shoes and this.
Hooker shoes.
That's one whole outfit?
I think that's a dress is what they call it. I don't know.
Yes.
She's in clear shoes with money still in them.
When asked about her so-called indiscretions, Brittany's stories kept changing. One moment they were done, the next she was saying, "We were just on a break." She admitted to seeing someone else, even while still married, and even while possibly pregnant. So Mr. Threlkeld, desperate for clarity, demanded a lie detector test. She agreed, then backed out, then changed the story again.
So, I mean, I don't know if it was my devious, messed up head that got her pregnant or the dude. So, that's the reason 100% why we're here.
The truth is that even though you had that plan in your mind,
Turns out the cheating didn't stop at one. Mr. Threlkeld listed multiple incidents, including a photographer she slept with after a photo session turned into a house tour. That ended in the bedroom. A friend of his that she allegedly mistook for her husband while falling asleep on the couch. Whoa, this is way too much for any man to handle.
And a little bit before that, he was taking pictures of both of us. And when she went there to go check the photos, she got a tour of the house. And lo and behold, the tour ended at the room.
So you slept with the photographer?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
What else did you find out?
The paternity of their third child, Liliana, is why this courtroom is packed with tension. And that's because Brittany was sleeping with someone else during the time of conception. According to her own words, there's a 50-50 chance that the baby in question might not be Mr. Threlkeld's biological daughter. That honesty came a little late, after 2 years of pain, doubt, and emotional distance.
Honest, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be 50-50 chance. Your
Anybody got a quarter?
He wants to forgive her, she wants to fix it. Despite the betrayal, despite the lies, despite the humiliation, they both say they want to fix the marriage. And that's where this all comes down to the DNA results. Because now, the excuses stop, the heartbreak pauses, the guessing ends. Because I believe we've heard enough.
Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Dixon versus Hunt.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
Ms. Dixon, you are furious that your husband, Stephen, denies he fathered your daughter, Tanea.
Mrs. Dixon wants to prove that her kid was fathered by her husband, Mr. Hunt. However, Mr. Hunt believes she is a liar because he caught her cheating on him. Ms. Dixon admits that she cheated on him, but says that it's okay because she wanted him to catch her as revenge. And yes, it gets worse.
I do.
Why are you cheating in the relationship? What happened?
In the beginning of our marriage, he would leave and stay gone sometimes for periods of times. I left for a month. I cheated. He had caught me, cheating.
That is crazy. Imagine catching your wife cheating in the act. That is enough to permanently radicalize anyone. That is probably why Mr. Hunt is insisting on a DNA test. He simply no longer believes in his wife. And who can blame him? This is exactly what anyone with any sense would do. But hold on, let's clear all of this up a bit.
And there's this car in the parking lot. Can I say something? Okay, the reason for me cheating and when I did it, it wasn't. There is no reason. It wasn't right.
Wait, what does that even mean? So that makes it better? Hey honey, yeah sure I cheated on you, but you have to understand that it isn't all that bad. I didn't really cheat, I was just trying to get my revenge on you. That makes it better, right? This is insanity, but it gets worse.
Car, I hear the noises and I knock on the window and she blatantly give me the look like, and so what? You see what I'm doing?
And what was she doing?
Cheating. She was with the guy doing whatever she wanted to do.
So your wife was having sex with another man in a car out front of your house?
Yes.
Wait, what sort of upside down logic is that? She wanted her husband to catch her cheating with another man so she could get him back? That was her plan? That? You'd think it ends there, but it doesn't because this woman is really insane. So what happened next?
A couple of months after that happened.
Just a couple of months?
Just a couple of months after that happened.
You find out you're pregnant?
Yeah.
What happens? Who do you tell? Take me back to that day.
Okay,
do you tell your husband?
I told my husband.
It was not protected? What did she think was actually going to happen? This is insanity. Did she think she would just get away with that and her husband would come begging for her? If that is what she thinks, she got it really wrong. But this case doesn't end there. What happened next? What?
At what point does the doubt kick in?
When I'm thinking about the time and I'm realizing that I was gone.
But he came back on June 1st.
Not only does Mr. Hunt think his wife cheated on him, he thinks she did it with his brother. His brother? Really? That is batshit insane. You would think that is the end of it, and you would be completely wrong. And now, we have Ms. Dixon's aunt here to testify for Mr. Hunt. What does she have to say?
Think that's a possibility. That's your family member. What makes you think that's a possibility?
I mean, because she clearly cheated. And I mean, he's gone. What is if he's still there?
Ms. Dixon is saying no, but we are hearing yes. She wanted to have her husband catch her with another man. That is the sort of person who could sleep with her husband's brother. And the fact that she is saying no doesn't really matter. Anyway, Ms. Dixon has her mother in court to testify for her.
Is Tanea's biological father?
Stephen.
You do? Mm-hmm. And you believe that without a doubt?
Without a doubt.
Why?
She looked just like him.
And I told my mom
And then by
everything.
saying it's the brother, no.
Well, everyone has had their say, but there is one more witness we are yet to hear from. And that witness is none other than Mr. Hunt's brother. Will he testify that he has slept with Ms. Dixon? Or will he say that he has nothing to do with this case? Well, there's only one way to really find out.
You are Tanea's biological father?
No, ma'am.
Do you admit to having a sexual relationship with Ms. Dixon?
No, ma'am.
You did not?
No.
Could he be lying? There's really only one way to find out, and that is by learning what the DNA test results say. Ms. Dixon insists that the child belongs to Mr. Hunt. She admits that she cheated on him, but says there is zero chance he could be her child's father. Now is the time to find out who is telling the truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Chris Hunt, you are not the father. Ms. Douglas, you are suing the father of your 5 children for a paternity test. You claim at times the defendant, Mr. Jones, doesn't treat your daughter, Cheyenne.
Those are heavy accusations. Today we have Ms. Douglas who wants to prove that Mr. Jones is the father of her 5 kids with him. She says she cheated on him and is sorry for being unfaithful, but she insists that he is the father of her children. Mr. Jones, on the other hand, completely denies paternity. This is how that starts out.
I did make a mistake. I slept with his cousin and the condom had broke. But before that, Tyrone was downstairs sleeping with my cousin. He was still having sex with his baby's mom. He was doing him basically, but...
Wait, what? So she cheated on him with his cousin because he cheated on her with her cousin. This is one messy couple. And he also has other kids aside from the ones he has with her. But hold on, because this case is about to get even worse if you can believe it.
And more. I don't cheat. I don't believe in cheating. I'm very faithful. But yes, he does him all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, you don't cheat and you don't believe in cheating? And that is why you decided to sleep with your partner's cousin? Hold on, Ms. Douglas, because it sounds like you believe in cheating at least a little bit. You might not believe in it all the way, but you definitely believe in it a bit. And yes, it gets even crazier.
I met Tyrone actually at a party that happened downstairs in my building. I met him and his cousin almost the same night. Me and Tyrone got together the first night we watched movies. The next night we did have sex, but we weren't together. We just had sex, and after that he went back to his.
Shoot. Now we get it. She did not actually cheat on him. She just slept around with his cousin. That may be morally suspect, but it isn't technically cheating since they weren't in the relationship. But the timeline suggests that the cousin involved may be the father of this kid. Let's learn more.
Go back to the cousin part. Like when I did sleep with his cousin, I was gonna deny the whole thing, but he actually went in my room and actually smelled the bed and actually said it smelled like his cousin.
His cousin's cologne?
Yes.
Committed relationship?
No.
You just going along for the baby's sake.
This just sounds so messy. The insane thing is that she only told Mr. Jones that she slept with his cousin 2 years after the fact. Now, why would she be hiding that fact if there wasn't a chance that the cousin could be the father of the child? So what happened next?
When the baby was 2, he went to Chicago with his other's baby mama. We were together then, and I'm pregnant with his son. He went to Chicago. We didn't hear from him for about 4 months. Didn't call check up on his daughter, didn't call check up on the pregnancy or nothing.
That is a lot to take in. Ms. Douglas keeps accusing Mr. Jones of cheating on her, but that doesn't really matter here. This is not couples court. This is paternity court. We are here to learn if the baby belongs to Mr. Jones, not if Mr. Jones sleeps around all day. And the next testimony we are about to listen to will get us closer to the end of the mystery.
Number 2, you think he's cheating?
Yeah. I just had my twins 7 months ago. He's still talking to women. I don't never talk to anybody first. After I find out he cheats on me, that's when I do it. But I really do want to be with him, and I want to make a family for my 5 kids.
Now, Ms. Douglas, you just keep saying, okay, now see, I do not believe in cheating.
This is insane. Ms. Douglas insists that he keeps cheating on her, but she's stuck with him. With her twins, now they have potentially 5 kids together, and she has 3 kids from another guy. This is insane. How did they even stay together long enough to get pregnant again? And it gets worse.
My twins is only
And he had
6
sex
months
with my
or 7
cousin
months.
before I had sex with his
so
cousin
it's
last month.
actually-
It's
it's-
always
So
him that
wait
starts.
a minute now. You had sex with his cousin again last month?
And he had sex with my cousin again 3 months ago, before I did it.
Okay.
That is right. It makes absolutely no sense, and yet she continues doing it. This is the sort of thing that gets you in a world of pain. If someone cheats on you all the time, you should leave them. What you should not do is stick with them and then cheat on them with your cousin. So what happened next?
I do want to be with her, but...
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I honestly do.
No, that's why he keeps cheating. Why? I have not. Why did you write somebody on Facebook yesterday? We're together. We're supposed to be a little trip to ourselves, and you're texting somebody on Facebook. Why?
This is so messy, and it is pretty obvious that no matter what happens, Mr. Jones will not stop cheating on Ms. Douglas, even if the kids end up being his. However, we are going to solve the one case this court is equipped to solve, and that is to figure out if Mr. Jones is really the father here.
Mr. Jones, you are not the father.
Walls versus Walker.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Walls, you say that after spending a short time away from Ms. Walker, you caught her with someone else's hands in her.
Mr. Wall says he caught Miss Walker sleeping with another man, or at least doing something really intimate with him, and as a result, he no longer thinks he is the father of her baby. Ms. Walker says he just wants to get out of providing for his kid. How did these two even get started?
Well, I worked across the street from where Dominique stayed, and when Dominique would walk out of her house going down the street, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, trying to catch her attention. So, you know, I kept pursuing her. Hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Can I call you?
Yeah, it sounds really romantic and is very different from how the regular kids on paternity court get down. Most times people who come to this court start an intimate relationship on the day they meet, or at most a day after. But this man pursued his lady for months. Good story, eh? Well, not totally.
In the beginning, until I found out I was pregnant. And when I found out I was pregnant, I told him, but he talked about he wanted a DNA test.
She told you she was pregnant, Mr. Walls. You weren't excited about it? Were you all in a...
He was absent for 30 days? Absent doing what? If you aren't in the know, that is a creative way folks on paternity court describe going to jail. So Mr. Walls says he was absent, and then Ms. Walker got with another man. And that is why he thinks this child isn't his. It is not the worst logic we have ever heard on this court, right? It gets better.
When I told him I was pregnant, and he has said, well, I need to take a DNA test because he said he didn't trust me.
But she admitted to cheating, though. Because when I was gone for them 30 days, she admitted to cheating.
Did you admit to cheating?
No, Your Honor.
I asked her.
Things are starting to make sense. So Mr. Walls went to jail, and when he came back, his girlfriend, or something, told him that she had been talking to another guy while he was away. And later on, she told him she was pregnant. But this seems like an issue a conception calendar could literally easily fix, right? Well, let's see.
Think right here. This is where I used to work. This is her house over here on Quincy. So I worked across the street from her house. Now, I'm coming down Finkel from my house on Ohio.
Well, that is a valid answer, Ms. Walker. Whatever you do is your business. But it also means whatever people believe about whatever you do is valid as well. If you're pregnant with another man's kids and then hanging out with other men, you cannot be too angry if he has some doubt, right?
Admit it. Right here, the car was in front of your house.
Right, in front
And you was
of
in the
my
car,
house.
right? You was in the
I
car.
admit
You
that,
was in the
but
car.
I'm not about
You
to
was in the
admit
car.
that I was cheating, but I was not cheating when I got
Was there
What
a
you doing-
man in
what
the
you
car
doing in the
with
car
you?
with a
Yes,
man?
what?
This is so messy. First of all, if you are in transition, it is smarter to start talking to women after transitioning, because now you have one more kid that could be yours. Is Mr. Walls even financially stable enough to take care of one more kid? Anyway, what happened next?
Oh, bottom line is you weren't really claiming either woman.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But Your Honor, he was...
But you just making circles around her house 3 times checking to see what she doing.
Well, see, she said she...
Okay, that might be shady. Scratch that. It's probably shady. But I'm not sure that is enough reason for a paternity doubt, right? People can lie or make mistakes about things like that without actually cheating on their partners. And Mrs. Walker says that never happened.
telling me
She was
that
staying
he
with me.
was
It's a
he gonna
difference in
promise
my
to
house.
leave her so he can be with me and my child. But it have not happened like that.
Hold on. Throughout the pregnancy, you were by yourself?
Hold on, wait a minute. She didn't call him till the next day? Now, that is a super massive red flag. When women on paternity court don't have you present during the pregnancy, it is usually because they aren't totally sure you are the father. Is that what happened here? Let's see.
Kids, I had symptoms. You know what I'm saying? I woke up, I'm feeling like I'm puking up a little bit. I'm feeling a little nauseous. And with her pregnancy, I had none of that.
How many other kids do you have?
I got 5 other kids.
Okay.
Now, that reply has got me thinking. If the child definitely belongs to Mr. Walls, why would she say she would give him an apology? That's very confusing. But we don't have time to debate that now. All we have time for is the DNA test result, and here's what that result says.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wall, you are not her father.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a case of Threlkeld versus Threlkeld.
Thank you. Good day, everyone.
Hey, Your Honor.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men.
That is quite literally one of the worst things you could do to any man. Mrs. Threlkeld cheated on her husband while he was risking his very life to keep the country safe. And now that she has admitted to that, she still wants him to believe that her kid belongs to him. Well, it gets worse.
I was overseas in Afghanistan, and I was at up in the Northeast, and a soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, "Hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now." So earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out.
Whoa! Imagine being stuck out there under constant fire and learning that your wife is stripping at clubs. However, Mrs. Threlkeld says she only does the stripping because Mr. Threlkeld's salary isn't enough to sustain her. At least she was just stripping, right? She was not actually cheating, right? Well, let's see.
And I get on Facebook, and there's some clown on there saying, liking all her skimpy photos.
Skimpy photo.
Was following her. He liked that she was started working at the club. And I started doing a little bit of research, wondering, who this guy is.
Wow, that is a lot. Imagine how crazy it must have been to learn, while you are thousands of miles away from your family, that your wife is cheating on you. A lot of men would have handled this even worse than Mr. Threlkeld has. But Mrs. Threlkeld must have a reason for this behavior, right? Well, let's see.
We were done. We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, we're going to get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers. And then we hung up. And let me finish.
What had happened was, when I was at Fenty, we got in a phone argument, like she said, on Skype.
Wait, hold up. $5,000 a month. Tax-free is certainly enough to support the kids wherever you live. That is $60,000 a year tax-free. If that isn't enough to support the kids, then Mrs. Threlkeld should do the grown-up thing and get a proper job, not start cheating on a husband who is risking his life for the country. So what happened next?
Clear shoes with money still in them.
Okay, that was for decoration.
So you come home, Mr. Threlkeld, and your wife and your family aren't there. But she eventually does pick you up. So you were there at some point to get it.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may not like it, but that is exactly what Mrs. Threlkeld is doing. The fact that she did not get any other job aside from stripping just speaks volumes. Everyone can understand if you strip because of financial troubles, but you surely don't have any of those troubles if you get $5,000 a month from your husband who is serving the country. But Mr. Threlkeld is not done yet.
When the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, that there's going to be the color guard, the motorcycles that drive, in front. The news was going to be there. 2 weeks before we came back from overseas, my unit actually sent papers to all the family members back home, giving the exact address and time.
Wow, this is just incredible. Whatever the results of the DNA test today, it just seems really obvious that Mrs. Threlkeld here isn't interested in a marriage or even motherhood. She just wants to have fun and prolong her youth for however long it takes. So what happened next?
Clear shoes with money still in them.
Okay, that was for decoration.
So you come home, Mr. Threlkeld, and your wife and your family aren't there. But she eventually does pick you up.
I was wondering who, because I saw the guy, she hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy.
What? What sort of defense is that? He was just going to say that to make you mad? It seems like Ms. Threlkeld here is taking gaslighting to a whole new level. Mr. Threlkeld is obviously correct to doubt paternity because this woman has a lot of skeletons in her closet, but what happens next will blow your mind.
He texts her and says, I guess I figured now who you picked. And so she starts crying, and I said, why are you crying?
We were already done.
And she's like, well, he was my boyfriend.
Why do you care?
Why would you have a boyfriend if you're married? Paper or no paper?
We weren't. We were done.
What? Makeup? Within minutes of being home? Remember that minutes before this makeup, whatever happened, Mr. Threlkeld had called her lover, who told him that he had been sleeping with his wife. Did Mr. Threlkeld suddenly forget that? Or was he just too in the mood to care? This is insane, but it somehow gets worse.
And I found out about her stripping and her cheating. There was a few options that came across my head of how I should deal with it. So when I got back home within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
That was his great plan? To get his wife pregnant so that she wouldn't cheat on him? Okay, Mr. Threlkeld, you may have served your country, but you aren't behaving like a really smart guy. Now that we have heard testimony from both of them, it is time to decide who the father is. What do the DNA test results have to tell us?
Liliana's father.
This is a case of Bosley versus Jackson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Bosley, you and your son have petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain.
That is crazy. The woman here, Ms. Jackson, admits to cheating with 3 co-workers but insists that her child belongs to Mr. Bosley. This is insanity. How can she cheat with 3 co-workers? Not 1, not 2, but 3? Wow. Little wonder Ms. Bosley has his mom here to defend him. So how did all of this begin?
Is
in the beginning, we were working together, and he was starting off like, "Oh, I love you. Do you believe in love at first sight?" And then the next day we was talking, and then we had sex.
Okay, yeah, but that doesn't mean you should go on and cheat on your partner with 3 coworkers, right? Like, that doesn't even make any sense at all. Men will lie to get in your pants, that's for sure. But according to her, Mr. Bosley didn't even do anything to make her think he was a liar. What happened next?
Me, because I can't get it out of Mr. Bosley.
I had gave oral sex to this person.
And I don't. What man, Your Honor,
says,
what man will believe that she only gave you?
Just to interject, if you don't mind, I wasn't.
Oh, that is a good point. Ms. Bosley's mom says that the details are literally irrelevant because he cannot be the father of her child, and is because the timelines do not match at all. It is a good argument that just supports all the other arguments Mr. Bosley has against this woman. But hold on, it gets worse.
I was excited about the situation.
Your Honor.
And
y'all had known each other all of 2 months then, and y'all was excited?
It wasn't 2 months, it was a month.
It was a month?
Yep.
No, I wasn't excited. The 2 guys she cheated on me with, those was the guys that...
Exactly. This is a mess. Why are you sleeping with everyone you work with? Is there someone at work that Ms. Jackson hasn't slept with? Because this is literally so insane. It doesn't even matter how many men she cheated on him with. The point is, she did, and that is enough for a paternity doubt. It's so bad that the judge even got angry.
That she has slept with 3 men on her job. There should be no young woman out here sleeping with 3 men at her job.
Yeah, it does. These people aren't just messing about, which would be bad enough, but they are messing about without protection and also making kids. This is literally crazy. They are creating a new generation of kids without a stable home, just so they can have some physical release. And of course, it gets worse.
Menstrual cycle was March 14th. And when I did have oral sex with that person, I was on my menstrual cycle at that time.
This is not about just the oral sex. You need to understand.
She thinks it's about just that. No, it is about everything that came before that. This is serious business, and the fact that she probably only had oral intercourse because she had her period just makes her excuses even worse. This shouldn't be happening at all. She is just giving herself out for free, and Judge Lauren had to actually speak to this.
Because there is no reason a beautiful young girl like yourself should be running around here laying around with this many men. It's unacceptable. And like I said, I'm not saying this to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you, Miss Jackson.
This is so sad. This young woman has done so much damage that it is going to be almost impossible for anyone to trust her again. You simply don't start sleeping around like that without expecting some consequences. The sad thing is, she is also from a broken home.
Grow up with your dad in your life?
No. He denied me too. And it hurts. It hurts.
I understand.
Mrs. Jackson grew up without her father in her life, and now she might be giving birth to someone who will also grow up without a father in their life. Instead of breaking the cycle, she has repeated it. This is so tragic, but she truly has no one else to blame but herself here. What happened next?
And I scrolled down, I was on Snapchat, basically. And I had seen the dude, and I said, he looked just like my son. I'm like, what? Like,
Your Honor, he sent me that picture, and immediately, just in all honesty, I was like...
And that, folks, is exactly how you end up on paternity court. The crazy thing is, we also have this man in court today. We have heard testimonies from Ms. Jackson and Mr. Bosley. It is time to learn what the DNA test results have to say. You know what they say? Men lie, women lie, but DNA tests, they never lie.
Jackson interested in a sexual relationship with you.
Yes, Your Honor, she was trying to have sex.
So do you believe you are Maverick's biological father?
No, I don't.
Has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Bosley.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Palmer versus Ross.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Palmer, you opened today's case because the defendant is denying he fathered your 3-month-old son, Jace.
Mr. Money-Making Ross here thinks Ms. Palmer just wants her kid to be his because he has a lot of money, and he thinks she is a horrible liar because she was constantly cheating on him. Ms. Palmer says Mr. Ross just wants to hide from responsibility and that he has to be her kid's father. Here's what Mr. Ross thinks of that.
You're denying that this baby is yours, Mr. Ross, because you say you use condoms throughout the relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the nature of this relationship?
We were just friends with benefits, Your Honor.
I can see that this really hurts you. Miss Palmer, what has it been like raising this child on your own?
That is the tragedy when it comes to these cases on paternity court. Miss Palmer already has one kid that she raised on her own, and she never believed that she would have to do this again. But it doesn't seem like she's had any choice in the matter, and it is so painful to see. What does Mr. Money-Making Ross think about this?
Do enough for a child that I know is not mine.
And so you admittedly have not done anything for this child?
No, I have not.
All right.
Oh, really? Well, at least they used protection, right? But that is really irresponsible. Miss Palmer says she never wanted to have to raise a child alone, but that's exactly what you get when you mess with loads of guys. That is literally your reward for doing that, nothing else. But hold on, folks, because this gets crazy really quick.
Relationship.
I broke it off.
You just broke it off?
Right then, because I didn't feel safe for me. She having sex with other guys, and the rate of disease is high, so I ain't got no reason. I try to be with her.
Hold on. Mr. Ross says he used protection throughout the 2 weeks they slept together and that he broke everything off much later. If he really used protection, then I understand why he thinks the baby isn't his. But then Miss Palmer has to explain why she thinks he is the father.
I met Mr. Ross on the 7th. We had sex on the 8th.
Were you having sex with anybody else during that time?
No, Your Honor.
Which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me. It was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
That makes a lot of sense. It is crazy that Ms. Palmer started with this sob story about how she never wanted to be a single mom for the second time, and now we are finding out just how irresponsible she was. If Mr. Ross were the only possible father, she wouldn't try to pin the baby on another man, right? Well, it gets worse.
In the beginning of August, me and the alleged father, we got a DNA test. And in the midst of us getting a DNA test and the results came back, I immediately contacted Mr. Ross.
You immediately did?
Yes.
And what did you say when you reached out to him?
I asked him to do a DNA test for me.
Okay, that changes things. If Ms. Palmer has gotten a DNA test with the other guy and he isn't the father, then it's very likely that Mr. Ross could be the father, but it isn't a sure thing, as Ms. Palmer could very well be lying about the number of potential fathers her kid has. So what happened next?
Trying to trap me because she know I have money. She asking me for
It's
things.
not about money,
She
Your
never
Honor.
asked me to come see the child.
It's not about money at all.
She never asked me to come see the child.
I don't need for him to do anything for my
So,
son.
in your opinion, Ms. Palmer, how does it go from that point? Because this is where I feel like it goes from I'm positive I'm not the child's father to...
This is just so messy, but Judge Lake makes a really good point. Why would he buy her a car seat if he doesn't think there's even a tiny possibility that the baby might be his? That doesn't add up. And if he has so much money, why didn't he just get a DNA test and be done with it? Anyway, Ms. Palmer has some more sizzling testimonies.
My son has the same lips, same eyes, same ears. My son has short limbs. I'm tall, obviously, Your Honor.
That's a newborn baby. You gotta...
Regardless if
Like,
it's
this
newborn
was the
or
first
not.
picture. Like, go to him now.
If my son and just for my father to find me a week before I gave birth.
Of course he doesn't deserve it, but don't you think you should have fixed that before messing with multiple men to the extent that you have no clue who your child's father might be? Ms. Palmer keeps talking about wanting the best for her kid, but she hasn't shown that she wanted the best badly enough. Anyway, why did Mr. Jones have to wait so long to get a DNA test?
Even send you any kind of money, you're gonna have to get a DNA test in, because I'm not finna just give
He
you
told
no
me he
money.
was not gonna pay for one, so
I told him I'm not
I
gonna pay
told
for
him,
one.
look,
Because that's
this
the
is
case,
our
she
next
could have
step.
just told me I was the father when she thought the other guy was, and we wouldn't have to do that. We had to do that at the hospital.
Exactly. Anyway, we have heard enough. It is time to really look at the facts and figure out who the father of this child is. We have heard from Ms. Palmer and Mr. Ross. Now it is time to read the DNA test results. Who's the father here? Time to figure it out.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ross, you are the father. Mr. Watson, you are in court to prove that you are not the biological father of the defendant's 4-year-old son, Kevin. You say that Ms. Mahoney was having sexual relationships with 2 different men and either of them could be the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Watson is in court today to prove that he is not the father of Ms. Mahoney's 4-year-old son, Kevin. He believes he isn't, as Ms. Mahoney had sexual relationships with 2 other men while he was away. Ms. Mahoney, however, is very confident that Mr. Watson is Kevin's father.
We were kids. We need to get these results because, you know, we are engaged and I would like to marry her, and I really hope this is my son.
Mr. Watson and Ms. Mahoney grew up together and are currently engaged. Mr. Watson loves her and wants to marry her, but the problem is he doesn't believe her son is his and cannot move forward with the marriage if his fears are proven true in court today. Ms. Mahoney is worried that this doubt isn't just affecting their relationship, but affecting Kevin too, who is taking Mr. Watson's rejection really hard.
When I came back, she was cheating, and she has a bad reputation of being basically, as I'm gonna say it, the neighborhood hoe. She had 2 men staying with her, and they were showering her with gifts. And
So Ms. Mahoney had 2 men living with her while Mr. Watson was away. She's not even denying it, and in her defense, she says she did what she did because it was her only means of survival. The men were close family friends, and she gave them a room in her house. They provided basic stuff like toilet paper because she had no job and no money, but was that really all?
Them with anything besides a place to stay?
A bedroom. That was it. I would not.
Mr. Watson, you were shaking your head. You don't believe that?
They were not close family friends. That is not true, Your Honor.
I've known them since I was 13.
That ain't no family friend.
Ms. Mahoney insists that she never had sex with either of the guys while they were staying with her, but one of them told Mr. Watson that he had. Even worse, the guy calls Kevin his son. There's no man who wouldn't have doubts after that. His girl living with 2 men was already questionable. Then one of them calls her child his son. That is off.
Did he say he was the biological father, or did this man say he was stepping up to be a father?
No, he said
Pretty
that,
much, Your Honor.
He said
He
that
takes
was
it how he wants.
He said that was his kid.
This is getting more complicated. The other guy in question was the one taking care of Kevin and Ms. Mahoney while Mr. Watson was away. Ms. Mahoney says that's why he claims to be the dad, and that there's a difference between being a dad and being a father. So which of these is Mr. Watson and which is the other guy? On top of that, the other man is in love with Ms. Mahoney and has declared his love to her many times.
And he's like, no, you had these men here. I know you were sleeping with them, your best friend, and that's around the time I found out what had happened between them. He just was really upset and told me I couldn't name him a junior, so I came Kevin.
Ms. Mahoney had a fallout with her best friend, so the best friend went and told Mr. Watson that she'd been cheating with multiple men while he was away, and then he and the best friend had sexual contact. Maybe it's a good thing Ms. Mahoney fell out with her, huh? But more interestingly, Ms. Mahoney has had a DNA test done before, and the result was 99.9% positive. Why then are they here today?
She walked up showing me the papers. First of all, I didn't see no government stamp on it. And when she showed me it, quote me on this if I'm wrong, when I read it, it read like 99
of the black population.
Of the black
that
population.
That was my response.
The problem with the last DNA result is that Mr. Watson is convinced it is fake. Ms. Mahoney's friend faked a DNA result once when they were younger, and Mr. Watson is thinking birds of the same feather. Also, more importantly, the results came back after 7 months. Why did it take that long?
You say this relationship is on the line now.
It's been more than on the line.
That everything is riding on these results.
And I want to marry him, and I want to have a future, and I want our son to be happy.
This paternity fight is taking a toll on Ms. Mahoney. She's worried about the effect it's having on her family. She and Mr. Watson fight about it all the time, and that is just heartbreaking. While her stance is understandable, so is Mr. Watson's. The events that ensued while he was away are too disturbing for him to let go of. Someone isn't telling the truth, and he believes that person is Ms. Mahoney.
So, Mr. Watson, do you want to make this work if Kevin is your biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to make this family work?
Yes, of course. I love this woman.
And if he's not?
I don't know. I don't know.
Ms. Mahoney swears that she never had a sexual relationship with anyone else around the time of Kevin's conception. She's sure he's Mr. Watson's child. If the court proves he is, they have a wedding to plan. If the results come out negative, we guess that's bye-bye, Mr. Watson. Let's find out what the results say.
Mr. Watson, you are the father. Ms. Lewis, you say you're here to demand the defendant finally take responsibility because though he denies it, he is indeed the biological father of both your children.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis is in court to prove that Mr. Pippin fathered both her children. Mr. Pippin, alongside his girlfriend Ms. Sanders, does not believe so and claims to have substantial proof to back up their claim. Well, let's see what proof they have to back up their claims.
I met him. His mother was a bus driver at my school. One day he came home from the group home. He was riding the bus with her. I was about 15, 16. Okay.
While Mr. Pippin was in a committed relationship with Ms. Sanders, he was having a, let's call it, committed affair with Ms. Lewis. The two of them were so close that Mr. Pippin even helped Ms. Lewis take her braids out. And it was on one of such occasions that he asked her to have his baby. How can you make such a request? And when she finally has the baby, you reject it.
Admit you were in a sexual relationship with Ms. Lewis.
Yes, ma'am.
Not using protection.
Right. Because the time around when she got pregnant, I was not here and I was in Greenville at the time when she got pregnant.
About the first son, Quayshawn, Mr. Pippin claims he wasn't around during the conception date. He was staying with Ms. Sanders, but Ms. Lewis insists he would still come around hers, climbing through her window, banging at her door. So which of them is lying? Because someone definitely is.
He hadn't been to Greenville because of his work schedule and my work schedule.
How far is only about 10 to 15 because Mr. Pippin don't that way to get there.
To Greenville.
Ms. Lewis's mother had seen Mr. Pippin leaving her apartment. What does Ms. Sanders even mean by he had no way to get to Greenville? Is he a child that he can't find his way if she doesn't drive him there? Mr. Pippin paid Ms. Lewis a visit in the daytime and at night behind his girlfriend's back. He must have been really into her.
He comes to Greenville, where we live at, and he was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, you asked me to have the child, I'm against abortion.
Ms. Lewis got pregnant at the age of 21, and then she told Mr. Pippin the news like, you asked me to have your child, here you go. Mr. Pippin was elated, and guess what? He asked her to marry him. This is a guy with a girlfriend. How did Ms. Lewis believe all his promises when their relationship was built on unfaithfulness?
By the time I got there, she was back to the house. So I asked her about it.
Your Honor, the night he claiming he saw me with his boyfriend was in December of 2011. I wasn't even pregnant yet. It was still in the ground.
So now Quayshawn is 2 years old.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ms. Lewis is upset. Mr. Pippin claims he has doubts about the paternity because he saw her with her ex, but she says the day he saw her wasn't even around the conception date. The worst thing we've heard about this case so far is that Mr. Pippin is a terrible father. Slamming the door in the baby's face? That is just so mean. It's one thing to believe you're not his father. It's another to be mean to a child.
I don't do anything for this child. I went and had a DNA test done, and I had a proof right here saying the child wasn't mine.
You do? All right. Jerome, please hand me that evidence. Mr. Pippin, what exactly is this?
That's the
evidence
proof of the DNA test. The results was that I was not the father.
They've carried out a DNA test in the past, and the results said Mr. Pippin wasn't Quayshawn's father. But Ms. Lewis says she is sure that Mr. Pippin and Ms. Sanders manipulated the results somehow, because Mr. Pippin would do anything to avoid taking responsibility for any of his 4 kids. But how could they have manipulated the results? Ms. Lewis and her mother don't know, but are confident something was off that day. Let's find out if it was false or not.
When it comes to 2-year-old Quayshawn Pippin, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Pippin, you are not.
I told you then. I told you.
We did not see that coming at all, but the show's got to go on. Now that we've got the paternity of the first child sorted, let's move on to the other one, 1-year-old Quitavion. Ms. Lewis better have her facts right this time around. Let's find out what crazy stuff happened next.
This particular paternity issue, or let's just cut to the chase. Who else could be the father?
Nobody, Your Honor.
Were you sleeping with anybody else at the time?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis claims that she was only sleeping with Mr. Pippin around the conception date of her second child, but Mr. Pippin had seen on Facebook that the baby has another man's last name. This other man was the guy she was seeing. Also, the child doesn't look anything like him, but looks a lot like her current boyfriend, Mr. Cornegay, whose last name the baby has.
Child has your last name.
The reason why he got my last name because I've been to a doctor's appointments with her. When she hurt, she cried there with her. When he was born, I cut the neighbor cord. I signed birth certificate because he needed a father.
Oh, this is very impressive. Mr. Cornegay admits that he gave the child his surname because he's been a father to him. He was there during the pregnancy, and he's been there ever since. He lost his son, and since then, he's vowed that he was going to take care of Ms. Lewis's kids, even though they're not his. Now, that is a father right there.
You informed him you were pregnant. Yes. What was his response?
He asked me to name him after him. So if he feel like he's not yours, why you ask me to give him your last name? You give him your full name, not just last, but a full name.
Who? These people have a lot of issues. The only way to fix this issue is to find out what the DNA test results have for us. And hold on, because the results will shock you no matter what. Let's just find out the paternity results of the second child.
Mr. Cornegay, you are not his father. It has also been determined by this court, Mr. Pippin, you are his father.
Thank you.
I told you.
Then I step up and do what
Mr. Mason, you previously appeared in court when you proved that the defendant's 1-year-old daughter was not your child. You are now here questioning the paternity of the defendant's 5-month-old son, Ace.
Mr. Mason and Ms. Malone have been on paternity court before, and it was proven that the child in question isn't his. Now that Ms. Malone has given birth to a second child, he wants another DNA test done because he doesn't believe this child is his either.
I feel like still that Ace is not my child. I feel like that it's impossible to get a DNA for a child that's unborn just from a swab of the mother.
Ms. Malone had done a prenatal paternity test that said Mr. Mason was the father, but he believes it's impossible to tell the paternity of a child before it's born. Hence, he thinks the result was fake. In addition to that, Mr. Mason says he feels no connection to the child. Every time he holds him, the boy just cries. Well, he's a baby. Does Mr. Mason expect a hug, or what?
Now he thinks Mr. Haynes, my fiance, is the dad of Ace.
I believe.
Oh, you believe Mr. Haynes is Ace's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe Mr. Haynes is the father.
Mr. Mason believes the child belongs to Ms. Malone's fiancé, Mr. Haynes, because of the connection he has with the child. But that's not a strong enough reason. If the child lives with Ms. Malone, Mr. Haynes, and the other kids, he's gonna have a better relationship with them than with Mr. Mason, who he probably looks at like a stranger.
Mr. Haynes, February 22nd, 2017.
I don't believe that, Your Honor. She could have kept him a secret or anything,
No.
but then just
No.
got rid of me just to move
Technically,
him back.
I didn't know her when she had ace in her stomach.
Okay, that's interesting. Mr. Mason signed the birth certificate. Then Ms. Malone got it removed and put Mr. Haynes' name on it. Why would she do that? Then come to court to prove Mr. Mason is the father. Why take off the actual father's name on the boy's certificate? She better have a good explanation for this because it sounds very, very suspicious.
So how is it you met in February after Ace was born?
Your Honor, he's not on the real birth certificate.
Oh, what?
Not on the hospital. Like, they give you a piece of paper in the hospital.
So, that's not the real birth certificate. Ms. Malone put Mr. Haynes' name on it because Mr. Mason wasn't acting like a father. He didn't seem to want the child or to be listed, so she chose the man who was actually there for her. Understandable, but it does make things look suspicious.
I was going through his phone one night. I was wondering who this woman was. She kept calling, she kept calling. One night I caught him slipping. He left his phone on the table, and she kept calling that night.
These two have had an eventful past. They were in a relationship for 5 years, mostly good, but with some bad. They were both unfaithful, and that's what brought them to court the first time. Now, because that baby wasn't his, Mr. Mason fears his current child might not be his either. But Mr. Mason isn't a saint. After their last court appearance, they tried to make it work, but Mr. Mason cheated, and Ms. Malone broke up with him and moved on with her life.
Doesn't have kids. So when we got engaged, he seen my kids as his own. Of course, it's a new thing to him trying to show all 3 of my kids attention.
Mr. Mason insists he didn't cheat, but only found solace in the other woman because she was a listening ear, the only one he could speak to about the situation with Ms. Malone. He is really troubled about the relationship the baby has with Mr. Haynes. You can tell from how much he keeps mentioning it, but again, it makes sense that the baby has a better bond with the father figure in his life.
This is the exact reason why we performed a prenatal test. It's so that when this child was born, the question would be answered so that he could have the love, affection, support, and protection of his father.
Judge Lauren is angry. The prenatal test was carried out to avoid this exact situation. Yet here they are, back in the courtroom for yet another test. Mr. Mason doesn't just mistrust Ms. Malone, he also doesn't trust the court or science. Or maybe he really doesn't want to be the father and is grasping at straws here.
I don't want you to leave this courtroom with any lingering doubt. So standing by on the phone is Dr. Baird. He is the chief science officer at DNA Diagnostics, and he can further address the validity of the earlier DNA test.
Now that Mr. Mason has heard from a medical expert, his doubts should be cleared, but just to be sure, the postnatal DNA results are in. And oh my, they are so shocking that Judge Lauren can't even contain her surprise. Let's find out if he's the father of Ms. Malone's 5-month-old son.
Mr. Mason, you are the father. Again.
Stones.
Ms. Hanger, you claim the defendant has already been placed on child support for your daughter Chloe, and therefore there is no reason to administer a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hanger is in court today because Mr. Babbitt has refused to pay child support for her child after being ordered to. But Mr. Babbitt says he'll need a DNA test done before he pays, particularly because he has proof that he's not the child's father.
He's a spoiled, rotten, arrogant brat, point blank. He won't even admit that she even looks like him when she's identical to him.
Just because you frame her up there and put her next to my family, that's not actually a DNA test.
Ms. Hanger and Mr. Babbitt resent each other. It's so obvious they do. Ms. Hanger says the baby looks so much like him, but Mr. Babbitt doesn't see it. And even if there is some resemblance, he says that's not a DNA test, so it doesn't prove anything. Although he's been very defensive, he does make a good point.
Paperwork on my porch. Did I get paperwork from any person?
All right,
no.
so you got paperwork on your porch that said what?
That there is a paternity thing for a DNA test for whatever, Chloe.
Mr. Babbitt had received the paperwork summoning him to court for a DNA test on his grandma's porch. He says he had no proof it was legit. Anyone could have dropped off the paperwork and he thought it was fake. He didn't show up at court, but sadly he still ended up on child support. You can try, but you cannot run from the law, Mr. Babbitt.
You're responsible for it now because you were named the...
They gave him 30 days after he did not show up for this DNA test. They gave him 30 days to appeal it, and he never did.
I can still appeal it.
No, you can't. Not after that. Your name's on her birth certificate now.
He's got a smart mouth, alright? But taking his anger out on the judge is a mistake. Fine, he didn't think the court summons was legit. Fine, he failed to appear after 30 days. Fine, his name was put on child support by default, but that has nothing to do with Judge Lauren, and he did sleep with Ms. Hanger after all. Why can't he consider the possibility that baby Chloe might be his?
This relationship began, was it committed? Were you also sleeping with other people?
I met him through my roommate.
Mr. Babbitt believes that when they were in a relationship, Ms. Hanger was also intimate with another man, her roommate. He thinks this because the guy seemed jealous of them, and once he described an identifiable piece of Ms. Hanger's anatomy. When Mr. Babbitt had a sexual relationship with her, the description was confirmed.
Yes, I had not slept with anybody else prior to him for a year with my ex-boyfriend.
So you had never slept with anybody else but Mr. Babbitt during that window of time?
Another proof Mr. Babbitt has is that Ms. Hanger used to sneak out of the room for 30 to 40 minutes while he was asleep. He believes every time she did this, she was going to meet her roommate. But Ms. Hanger says she was only going to the bathroom during those nights and insists she hadn't been sleeping with anyone else while in a relationship with Mr. Babbitt.
I went to the doctor's appointment with her to get the ultrasound done. We're sitting there, they're doing this ultrasound, and the nurse is sitting there, okay, we're gonna find that heartbeat. And then the nurse is kind of going over her stomach.
It wasn't an ultrasound, it was a fetal Doppler.
How are these two ever in a relationship? They can't even agree on anything. Right from the start, Mr. Babbitt didn't believe Ms. Hanger was pregnant. When the nurse struggled to find the baby's heartbeat at the ultrasound appointment, he assumed there was no baby and just up and left town. He seems to be a very nonchalant person.
Yeah, I let him know I had to go get induced.
Yeah, you're like, I'm having
and then I got
tonight. Wait, no, I'm not. No, tonight for real is the night. No, it's
I
not.
got induced.
And then after a week of that,
I got induced.
Did you?
A week before my due date.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Babbitt is crazy. He still didn't believe Ms. Hanger was pregnant after 9 months. And then when she told him she was in the hospital, he said that. This man didn't even care for her, and still doesn't. This is not the kind of man any woman would want to be her daughter's father. And even worse, he accused Ms. Hanger of stealing a baby. What the hell?
Mr. Babbitt, you are...
Royce's father?
You're Mr. Babbitt, Royce's father.
Correct.
And you're standing with the plaintiff.
Because Chloe is our granddaughter.
This is definitely an interesting turn. Mr. Babbitt's father is standing with Ms. Hanger, and he says Chloe is his granddaughter because she looks exactly like he did when he was a baby. Also, they'd gone through this whole drama when he had his first son. This just goes to show that Mr. Babbitt is one problematic young man.
Ms. Hanger, you met with a licensed polygraph expert with 20 years of federal law enforcement experience. You were asked, did you have sexual intercourse with your roommate after March 2013?
Could the lie detector test be wrong? We don't think so. But that is the thing with paternity court. Even cases that seem sure end up not being so sure in the end. Let's see what twists this crazy case has for us. Anyway, let's find out if Mr. Babbitt's fear all along was valid. The DNA results are in.
Mr. Royce Babbitt, you are her father.
I guess.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is a biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Italy Beckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Beckley insists that Mr. Allen is the father of her child. She's angry because he has only seen the baby once since she was born and needs him to take responsibility. Mr. Allen is certain he's not the girl's father and is angry because the situation is causing a wedge between him and his fiancée.
I'm very angry, very frustrated. He's been neglecting her from day one since I got pregnant with her. And I'm just sick of it, and I just want him to take responsibility of something we both made.
They have 2 other kids together and he's very involved in their lives. But this baby has gone without his love and care from the moment she was conceived. Why does Mr. Allen not believe he is her father? How is he able to harden his heart toward her when he's so soft with the older kids? Something must have prompted this.
The time of conception made me have strong doubts, that the child is not mine. Me and Ms. Beckley had separated. We were co-parenting. We were still good friends.
That's not true.
That's hilarious. What on earth is baby-making sex? You slept with the woman unprotected, and now you're going on about it not being the baby-making kind. Sir, any kind can produce a baby. Anyway, they weren't in a good place then. They'd just separated, and he'd come around for their second child's birthday party.
So how long after that did you find out she was pregnant?
Within a day or 2.
A day or 2?
That's a lie.
Within a day
That
or
is
2.
a lie.
Told me.
How
Yes,
can I
Your
tell you a day after we have sex that I'm pregnant? That don't even make sense.
Ms. Beckley informed Mr. Allen she was pregnant a month after they hooked up, but he says it was a day or 2 after. Why did he lie? Or is he saying a month was too soon to tell she was pregnant? It seems the problem is that Mr. Allen doesn't believe they could have made a baby that day. The only option, he thinks, is that Ms. Beckley had sexual relations with someone else around that period, and that someone else is the baby's father.
Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate, hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline Ann Allen. Father's name's there. Second one, Xavier Dantes Tyrell Jerome Allen. Father's name is there.
Mr. Allen wasn't there for the birth of the baby and hadn't signed the birth certificate. Ms. Beckley gave the girl her own surname because she thinks Mr. Allen doesn't deserve to have the child take his name. That statement pisses Mr. Allen off, and we can see why. He takes care of the 2 other kids and her other daughter, which doesn't belong to him, yet she says he doesn't deserve to have this child named after him.
Mr. Allen.
She denied me the DNA quest not once but twice. That's what gave me further doubt. For the fact that the way she told me that she was pregnant was too fast, the time of conception, she said that the baby went full term.
If Ms. Beckley is so confident Mr. Allen is the baby's father, why did she deny him a DNA test twice? That is suspicious. Mr. Allen says all his children have his last name, and he would always own up to being a father because he didn't have one growing up. He just needed proof that this other child was his so he could take up the responsibility, but Ms. Beckley denied him twice.
You seem like an upstanding young man, and you seem like you have good intentions.
Yes.
I'm not going to feel sorry for you because you are putting yourself in this predicament.
Mr. Allen says his father died when he was born, so he'd never leave his own kids like that, but paying child support is tough, and he feels Ms. Beckley makes it harder. The judge reminds him, though, that he's the one who put himself in this situation.
Anything, Your Honor, she has nothing to do with it. Whatever she says is false and is irrelevant. She don't know me, I don't know her.
Okay, let me be the judge of that since I'm the judge.
The fiancé is here, and she's furious with Ms. Beckley. She claims Ms. Beckley has told Mr. Allen he isn't the father before, and even told another man that he is. The 2 women clearly don't like each other, and it's no surprise. Ms. Beckley is tied to Mr. Allen, no matter how much she denies it, with 2, possibly 3 kids together. So she's probably going to have a problem with any woman he's with.
Where did you hear this?
From a neighbor of hers.
A neighbor of hers told you this?
A neighbor of hers contacted him and told me and him that she was telling another guy that he was the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Beckley denies all the allegations, insisting that Mr. Allen is the only possible father. Now let's find out if she's telling the truth. The DNA results are in, and they will blow you away. The truth only comes out when the DNA test results are out, and the truth here is shocking.
Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiance, stepmama.
Mr. Andrews, you and your mother are in court today suing your ex, Miss Corbett, for paternity fraud because you claim she forged your signature on the birth certificate of her 5-month-old son, Quinn Andrews Jr.
Mr. Andrews and his mother are suing his ex, Ms. Corbett, for paternity fraud, claiming she forged his signature on the birth certificate of her son. Ms. Corbett, however, says he's just denying paternity, largely because of his interfering mother.
I don't know, Your Honor. I didn't sign anything, and somehow my name still managed to get put on the birth certificate. I have a copy of it right here.
Let me see that birth certificate. So you say somehow your name just appeared on the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Andrews was at the hospital when the baby was born. He even cut the umbilical cord. However, he requested a blood test to confirm paternity, which never happened. Instead, he later discovered that someone had forged his signature on the birth certificate, and it wasn't him.
The only reason why he's saying that he did not sign the birth certificate is because his mother told him not to sign my child's birth certificate. I mean, anybody that has kids, and she should know because she has enough, knows that in order for the birth
and all 8 of them is well taken care of, baby.
How much of a mama's boy can Mr. Andrews be to deny signing the certificate when there were witnesses? One of them is definitely lying, but it's unclear who. Ms. Corbett claims he signed it in her presence and only asked for a blood test because his mother pushed him to. Mr. Andrews, however, insists that's not how it went down.
But I could never say it was actually a committed one because every time we hit a bumpy road in our relationship or we get into an argument about anything, it could be simple. Quinn is out the door, right back to his mama.
Wow, Ms. Corbett shouldn't have said that, but Mr. Andrews' mom shouldn't have thrown out her accusations either. The truth is, Mr. Andrews and Ms. Corbett were in a 2-year relationship, but it was far from healthy, more toxic and verbally abusive. To make matters worse, Mr. Andrews' mom claims Ms. Corbett was sleeping around with everyone in the neighborhood.
Your Honor, I doubt for the simple fact that while we was together, I happened to clean up the house one day where we stayed at. I found the empty Magnum wrapper under the sofa, which she claimed was mine, which it wasn't. All of we used, I throw away.
Mr. Andrews has his reasons for doubting paternity. When they were still together, he found a used condom in their apartment that wasn't his. His aunt, who lives nearby, also saw a man sneaking out of Ms. Corbett's place. On top of that, Mr. Andrews noticed a bike parked outside her apartment, and she lied about who it belonged to. He even saw a text from a guy telling her to be naked when he arrived. Ms. Corbett denies all these allegations, but they definitely paint a picture of mistrust.
Have you developed a relationship at all with child?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yep, when I have time.
No, he does not.
He does. That baby was just at our house a week
For
ago, and my
6
boy
days.
brought milk, toys,
For
and
6
diapers
days.
for him.
Ms. Corbett isn't holding back. She insists that Mr. Andrews is only rejecting the child because his mother is influencing him. According to her, he's been too busy taking care of his mother's kids to focus on his own, but Mr. Andrews and his mom aren't having it. They point out that the child was actually at their place just the previous week, so it's not about a lack of involvement.
She stayed trying to seduce me, though. I got messages right now on my phone, but she trying to seduce me like every week.
All right. So how many times have you seen Quinn Jr.?
Like over a dozen times.
These two are like cat and rat. What do you mean you're going to drop the baby off at a fire station? That doesn't sound right. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship Mr. Andrews and Ms. Corbett have now, or whether they hate each other or not. There's a baby involved. Mr. Andrews has to step into the baby's life and step up as a father.
Oh, what's going on here? What is that about?
Like I said, we had gotten into an argument, Your Honor. I was trying to leave.
Why didn't you just take your child with you?
Your Honor, I couldn't take him with me.
You didn't have a car seat?
No, ma'am. I was walking like 2 or 3 miles.
Mr. Andrews doesn't understand sacrifice. When you have a child, you should be willing to do anything for them. What's 2 or 3 miles that you can't carry your child with you? These two are not serious and probably not ready to have kids.
And even if it was, just like I said, that's still his baby at the end of the day. Point taken.
But you're saying if it is?
Because he's making it, no, I'm not, I wasn't sleeping with anybody else at the time, but he's making it seem like even if I was.
Point blank, period. She insists she was only having sex with Mr. Andrews during the window of conception. She says that's the truth, and nothing but the truth. But the DNA test result sometimes has a way of revealing new and crazy truths to us. Let's see if the DNA results prove her right.
Mr. Andrews, you are the father.
Let it be known.
Let's be respectful. Let's be respectful.
Was I slut when you married me? Was I slut when you slept with me?
You think you've seen it all on Patently Court? Haha, believe me when I say that you have not seen anything yet. Sometimes these parents will leave your jaws hanging from your mouth. These are some of those moments. Grab your popcorn. Ms. McGee has petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to her estranged husband, Mr. McGee, that he is the father of her 4-year-old daughter, Serenity. She claims that her husband vanished 4 years ago after the birth of her child and has since then denied gathering her daughter and refuses to help her financially. This is how the case begins.
Ms. McGee, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to your estranged husband, Mr. McGee, that he is in fact the father of your 4-year-old daughter, Serenity.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim your husband vanished 4 years ago after the birth of your child and has denied fathering your daughter and refuses to help you financially.
Yes, Your Honor.
With that tone, you can tell she's not joking at all. Judge Lauren asks her what life has been with her daughter, and she says that it's been pure hell. Husband Mr. McGee says that he wanted a family with her, but all that changed when she decided to cheat on him with another man.
You haven't helped Mr. McGee?
Your Honor, I don't believe that Serenity is mine, so I didn't see any need to help.
How you not feel she yours when you know me and you were messing around the time I conceived?
No, because you were messing around with multiple
You was
people.
too, and you talking about multiple people before I even had her.
Phew, Ms. McGee needs to blow off some steam. She looks like she is ready to fight her husband to the last. She says that she told him that there was a possibility that he might not be the father of her child. The reason she believes he is the father, because when she conceived the child, Mr. McGee was the only man she was sleeping with.
But I don't believe because not only her, but multiple family members of hers is informing they think that I'm not the father of the child. It so happened that we had a Super Bowl party. So we were drinking and stuff. She ended up falling asleep.
Wow. He does seem to have very valid reasons to doubt the child. He says that he messed around with her phone and he saw a text that showed another man asking about Ms. McGee's daughter as if he was the father. To make things even worse, he saw odd pictures of other men on her phone.
Valid question. Why not request a DNA test before this?
I thought I was in love with her.
You thought you was in love with me?
Yeah, and that...
Being in love with me don't have nothing to do with you not taking care of your responsibilities.
I think we can see why Ms. McGee is pissed to her bones. I can't believe Ms. McGee just said something like that. Mr. McGee says that the only reason he married her was because he thought he was in love with her. Well, Ms. McGee wants a divorce, so clearly this marriage is about to take a nosedive.
Mr. McGee has testified that you told him that Serenity was not his biological child. So do you think Mr. McGee is your grandchild's father?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay, let's just see, the courtroom is on fire right now, and it doesn't look like the flames are going to be put out anytime soon. Mr. McGee tells the judge that Ms. McGee's mother told him that the child did not belong to him. The judge asks Ms. McGee's mother to walk in, and the moment she does, all hell breaks loose.
Your Honor, they were in and out of relationship, and my daughter was just out there. We have a relationship, and she talked to me, okay? And so, no, I do not believe that he's the father, because I knew my daughter was out there, and I knew that she had made mistakes.
That is one hell of a confession. Ms. McGee's mother does admit to the fact that she did tell Mr. McGee that the child did belong to him. She says this because she knows that her daughter was sleeping with other men, and the date of conception does not put Mr. McGee as the father of the child.
Your Honor, we have a relationship, and my daughter...
We had a relationship until you betrayed me.
It's not that I betrayed her. Your Honor, I only can go by what my daughter said to me. That's it.
And what did she say?
She told me, she said, Mom, I made a mistake.
Looks like the fight is now between Ms. McGee and her mother. Ms. McGee's mother is upset because she raised her daughter in a Christian way and taught her to honor marriage. What's making her really mad is the fact that her daughter stepped out of marriage. But then again, her husband also did the exact same thing. I guess two wrongs don't make a right.
You'd be married with a fiance.
She actually said future fiance.
That means that they're already in a relationship.
Yes, we are, and I've been in a relationship with him for the past 4 years. He stepped up.
So...
Hear me out. He stepped up and helped me take care of my child while this one left us bogus.
It really doesn't get worse than it already is. Ms. McGee tells the judge that she has another fiancé, and she slept with him during the window of conception without using protection. She says that he is the one who stepped up for her, and she plans on spending the rest of her life with him.
You understand we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Serenity. She said you all had sex within the window of conception, unprotected.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree to that?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it only takes one encounter for her to get pregnant. Ms. McGee says that she believes that Mr. McGee is the father of her child because she slept with him more times than she slept with her current boyfriend. I wonder in what world that works. Oh well, we've seen just about enough of their yelling. The DNA results are in, and I think it's time we hear the judge's verdict.
The biological father is Mr. McGee.
How you feel now?
Ms. Young and her daughter are in court to prove that their deceased common-law husband, Johnny Wallace, did not cheat on her with Ms. Terrell and father her daughter, Ms. Patton. She says that once the results prove that he is not Ms. Patton's father, she will sue to recoup all of the Social Security benefits from Ms. Patton that she wrongfully received after Mr. Wallace passed away. This is how the case begins.
Ms. Young, you and your daughter are here in court today to prove that your deceased common-law husband, Johnny Wallace, did not cheat on you with Ms. Terrell and father her daughter, Ms. Patton.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is not going to be an easy case. Both parties seem ready to fight to the end. Ms. Terrell claims that her Mr. Wallace never denied her daughter, but she chose to separate her daughter from Mr. Wallace's crazy lifestyle. And that's why it seems like he never accepted her daughter.
All I know is that I've known him since I was a teenager. We lived together. He's my daughter's father. And I never knew of Kaisha being his daughter, and still don't till this day.
That must have caught her out of the blue. Ms. Young explains to the judge that the first time she heard about Ms. Terrell's daughter was when her kids were getting Social Security numbers, and she got a letter stating that Ms. Terrell's daughter was also applying to get her Social Security number under her late husband, Mr. Wallace.
Wallace was going with each other. We was together every day. We would go out.
Did you know he was in a relationship with Ms. Young?
Well, he had other baby mamas. He was around with all of them.
Wow, the truth bombs just keep on coming. Ms. Terrell says that Mr. Wallace was with a lot of women while he was still alive. Her daughter then goes on to say that she never had a relationship with Mr. Wallace, and all her life she only had one conversation with him. Looks like he was not a part of her life at all.
He looked at me, and then he talked to my grandmother, and then he came back to me. He said, "Hey, little girl." I said, "Hey." He said, "You know who I am?" And I said, I guess. And he's like, "What does that mean?"
That has to be the weirdest daddy-daughter conversation I've ever heard. Ms. Terrell's daughter breaks down the one and only conversation she had with Mr. Wallace while he was alive. And I just tell you, even little kids have more words come out of their mouths than what she and Mr. Wallace had.
Did you ever hear about Miss Patton?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
What did you hear?
One day Mom said, "You know Kaisha's supposed to be your sister." And I was like, "Yeah, right." Thought she was playing. She was like, "No, for real. She's supposed to be your sister."
Seems like everyone has a totally different story to tell. Ms. Young's daughter tells the judge that she and her father had a conversation about Ms. Terrell's daughter, and he told her that she was not her sister regardless of whatever she heard. After that, they never spoke about Ms. Terrell's daughter again.
Trying to be a child, I was tormented by them.
How?
Well, he say your daddy, but we don't know. Or my thing is, at 35, I'm still living 10 years old.
Ms. Terrell's daughter has one hell of a memory to be able to remember all of this. She says that she can remember way back when she was little that she and Ms. Young's daughter would play together like they were sisters, and the whole thing got very confusing when they started to grow up.
Told me that she was supposed to be my sister. My daddy told me she wasn't my sister. It was just like I made up in my mind that, I wanted to play with her anyway. I wanted to, be friends with her. I liked.
Well, that further complicates things. Ms. Terrell tells the judge that her daughter's birth certificate does not have Mr. Wallace's name signed as her father. Ms. Young's daughter says that she always believed Ms. Terrell's daughter to be her sister, but now that they are in court and there are so many secrets coming out, she doesn't know what to believe.
So, Mr. Wallace, was he aware when you were pregnant with Miss Patton that this was his child?
He was aware. I was a virgin when I first met Johnny Wallace. Me and him used to hang out. He used to come to my mother's house. I used to go to his grandmother's house.
Easy now, Ms. Young. We don't want you beating up anyone in the courtroom. Ms. Young says that she remembers her husband, Mr. Wallace, giving her some money to have an abortion, but she refused to follow through with it. Like the judge said, doesn't mean he did even in fact sleep with Ms. Terrell.
We don't know exactly what was said, but it, of course, to me, seems interesting. It's not on your birth certificate. There is question amongst the family as to whether or not you are or are not his biological child.
Phew, if only Mr. Wallace were alive to sort out the mess he created. Ms. Young is upset that Ms. Terrell and her daughter were enlisted as beneficiaries when Mr. Wallace died. But then again, if there was no type of relationship between them and Mr. Wallace, there's no way they would have gotten those benefits.
Miss Young claimed she never knew about me. I was never accepted. I got on a flight to Savannah, Georgia with Miss Stapleton to come and get her. If you didn't know me, if you didn't accept me, why?
At this point, I don't think there's any way forward aside from the results. We've seen both parties come at each other and it's ended in only fights. The results are in. Let's finally help them put an end to their endless worry and doubt, shall we?
Miss Patton and Miss Stapleton, you are not related.
Already knew it.
Mr. White has summoned Ms. Loving to court to prove that he did not father her 5-month-old daughter, Loyal. He has brought a witness to court who believes that he is the father of the child. Ms. Loving, on the other hand, says that she admits that Mr. White wasn't the only sexual relationship, but is certain that Mr. White is the father of her daughter. Well, this is how the case begins.
Mr. White, you have summoned Ms. Loving to court to prove you did not father her 5-month-old daughter, Loyal.
Yes.
You've brought a witness to court today who believes he is the baby's father.
Correct.
Let's just say they both had different ideas of what their relationship was. Mr. White says that he has known Ms. Loving for 4 years, and they've been very good friends for about that long. They had sex, but it was never a romantic relationship. Ms. Loving then says she did everything with him and wonders why he never saw her as his girlfriend.
Are you using protection?
No.
No, ma'am.
So you're sleeping with a girl
with no protection,
unprotected that's
but
not
your girlfriend.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
If I can recall, I was at work, and then she had told me she was pregnant, and so, you know what I'm saying? So when I got off work, I went over there.
Mr. White says that Ms. Loving called him while he was at work and told him that she was pregnant. He went over to her place to see how she was doing and confirm if she was really pregnant. Ms. Loving told him that he was the only possible father, but he did not believe her when she said so. All he did was give her the benefit of the doubt.
The day she gave birth, Your Honor,
You went to the hospital.
I went up there. Before I went up there, I got a DNA test, Your Honor. Left the DNA test in the car because I ain't want to bring it up there because I ain't know who was up there. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't want to be rude because we're going to be in my
That was
hand.
rude anyways, Will, for you to even do that. That was inconsiderate. I just had...
I think we can understand why they remained friends and they got into a relationship. They yell and argue about almost anything. Mr. White is mad at the fact that she did not come clean about the child having another possible father. Ms. Loving then tells him that she eventually did come clean, and that should count as something.
Looking at the baby trying to see what's going on.
And when you looked at the baby, did you feel like it was your
No,
child?
ma'am. She's beautiful, though, but no, ma'am, I didn't.
Okay. And so then did you ever ask Ms. Loving, I want to do this DNA test, I have it in the car?
I said, I got the DNA test in the car, you know what I'm saying? Y'all still want me to go get it?
Wow. Mr. White's doubts had to be very strong for him to want to do something like that. Apparently, he brought in a DNA test kit to check if the baby belonged to him after Ms. Loving had just given birth. He says he wanted to be respectful because he did not know who was in there, so he decided not to follow through with his plan.
What is your understanding?
My understanding, I've always believed that Mr. White was my granddaughter's father. I know Mr. White and my daughter.
That's one side of a coin. Ms. Loving's mother tells the judge that she has always believed that Mr. White was the father of her granddaughter because he used to talk to Ms. Loving a lot and they were always in each other's company. Aside from that, he's a very good and well-mannered gentleman.
To a recovery center when I found out I was first pregnant because I decided that I didn't want to have my baby. So basically this is the center that basically helps you cope with the situation, but instead they gave me a conception date.
Another truth bomb hits the floors of the courtroom. Ms. Loving tells the judge that she had 2 conception dates. The first one indicated that Mr. White was the possible father of her child, while the second one revealed that the other man she slept with could be the possible father. Phew, what a mess.
You have doubt as well?
I do. But one, Your Honor, my family has 6 fingers. My grandmother had it, he had it, my other son had it, and my other son's son had it.
I like his mom already. Mr. White's mother takes the stand and says that she doesn't believe the child belongs to her son. She says that she just wants to know if the baby belongs to their family so they can do the right thing and allow another man to take care of their own. Plus, she is right. If you, Ms. Loving, believe that baby belonged to Mr. White, why did she not allow him to take the DNA test?
You realize we're talking about the paternity as it relates to 5-month-old baby Loyal?
Yes, ma'am.
You have had a sexual relationship with Ms. Loving, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Phew, the surprises just don't end in this case. Mr. White brings in another witness, and the witness says that he believes he is the father of the child. The dude walks in, and apparently it's the other man Ms. Loving slept with. He says he believes he is the father of the child because he was in a relationship with Ms. Loving at a point in time.
Which lines up with your testimony, Ms. Loving, because you say the first conception date clearly pointed to Mr. White, but then when you went to the doctor later on, it established that there was potentially Mr. Talbert as another possible father.
Seems like the other guy also has doubts about being the father of the child. Well, the results have been prepared, and now we want to find out which one of both men is the father of Ms. Loving's daughter. Here are the DNA results.
Loyal's biological father is Mr. Talbert.
Ms. Foster says that getting pregnant at the age of 17 pushed her into adulthood sooner than she expected. She claims that Mr. Durden is denying her 15-month-old son, and she's asking the court to order a paternity test so she can prove to him that he is the father of her child. This is how their case begins.
Ms. Foster, you say getting pregnant at the age of 17 pushed you into adulthood sooner than you expected. You claim Mr. Durden is denying your 15-month-old son, Ian Durden Jr. You are asking the court to order a paternity test so you can prove he is the father.
Looks like Mr. Durden has done pretty much nothing for the child. He says that there is no need for the court to grant a DNA test because he knows he is not the father and he can prove that in the courtroom. Well, let's see why he thinks he is not the father of the child.
I haven't, and the simple fact because I haven't helped because I don't want to get too attached to a baby that's not mine.
He has your name.
Yeah, Your Honor, I agree with that. And the reason because he has my name is because I was kind of like pushed to sign a birth certificate.
Phew, that's sad. Ms. Foster is doing so much to make sure her baby is taken care of, and yet she doesn't get to spend as much time as she would like to spend with her child. Mr. Foster says that he does not do anything for the child because he does not want to get attached to a baby he is not sure belongs to him.
Mr. Durden, I mean, the numbers don't lie. Without your contribution, this young woman she's sinking financially trying to take care of this child.
I understand that she is.
Haha, that's hilarious. Mr. Durden still insists that the baby does not belong to him. He says that every time they had sex, he used a condom, so it's impossible for him to be the father of the child. What's even crazier is the fact that his name is on the baby's birth certificate, and he is listed as the father of the child.
It's messages that were between me and a guy that
a picture.
We were talking on social media. You know, we were on a break. Me and Ian were not together. He was someone who was comforting me at the time. It was not anything. We never had sex or anything like that.
I'm sorry, but Ms. Foster is not making any sense. She took another guy to her sonogram and did not inform Mr. Durden that she was even pregnant. Mr. Durden went through her phone and saw explicit messages with the same guy she took to the sonogram. Ms. Foster says that she did not have sex with him, but somehow that sounds like a lie.
The child's named after you. Why did you sign
And
the
it
birth
was a
certificate?
problem with the child being named after me. She didn't want the child to be named after me.
So you lobbied for that?
It took her mother and I think one of her friends to tell her it's the right thing to do if the baby's his.
Well, I mean, Miss Foster is not wrong. Nobody forced him to sign the birth certificate. He came to the hospital and put down his name as the father of the child. If he really didn't believe he was the father of the child, I don't think he would have signed the birth certificate.
This child is not mine. I know for a fact this child is not mine. Condoms are 98% sure.
Well, we're at the 2% because.
I mean, let's be honest. They're not 100% effective.
That definitely kept him quiet. Judge Lauren has been trying to see why Ms. Foster does not want a DNA test to be granted, and yet he can't seem to prove or convince Judge Lauren as to why a DNA test should not be granted.
This is my brother, Mr. Durden, and he's like my best friend. And one day we had a talk about Miss Foster and the baby, and he stated that she's pregnant. I didn't even know they was having intercourse because they so young. They kids.
Wow, that took me by surprise. Ms. Durden's sister walks into the podium, and to me she says that Mr. Durden told her that Ms. Foster cheated on him with her best friend, and the best friend looks exactly like Mr. Durden. Whew, you know what? That's enough drama from these guys. Let's see if Judge Lauren gets to grant the DNA test and what the results would be.
Mr. Durden, you are the father.
What would you do if you saw a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in court seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family. Here's how the case started.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Miss Davis' child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, a brief separation gave him the pass to sleep with another woman. It turned out that in no time, he was up to jiggery-pokery with Ms. Davis, yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl.
It just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, which is, the woman, I guess she left because of this situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Further, the defendant claimed that they had been in a committed relationship for 2 years. The man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain, yet blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my.
I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5 years we was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
The next, Judge Lauren hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So he put on his deception hat and duped the baby mama like this.
Told people, and then I asked her to let me tell my wife. And of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her. Because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her.
However, he asserted that Ms. Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Oh man, are you out of your mind? He has no control over his desires. And yet, has the defendant been inoculated for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
Ms. Davis told her that she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which caused a lot of havoc in my life.
Okay, so the next chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that she had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby, because he sent some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
We got into a bit of an altercation. I don't remember the exact details. And my family member seen her be picked up by another guy.
That was my cousin.
That she claims to be her cousin. However, it's a coincidence that while we were at the hotel,
to prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Ms. Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting.
I'm no Einstein or anything, but I'm educated enough to know my own birth date. This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate.
Until now, it was apparent that Mr. Wiggin was a compulsive liar who made sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together.
Still involved?
No, we're not, Your Honor. No, we're not, Your Honor.
At the same time, two different answers.
Right.
Exact same time.
When was the last time you two were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet he contended that he wanted to get back his family. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated, so the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father.